right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It is so great to see all of your beautiful faces tonight. And so here we are, another Monday night. I am thankful and grateful. And so this is, for those of you who are tuning in or will tune in, this is the Women to Women show on the New You Nation Network. And we are excited to be here to share positive and uplifting content. And we are going to get started tonight with our topic, which is where do we draw the line? So I am excited to get into it as we all come in. Hey, Trey.
Hey.
We were just getting started.
Hey.
Hey. And so we are going to get started by introducing ourselves and saying what we are grateful for. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. My name is Manetta Fields. I am the owner of Holistically Motivated LLC, where we help women choose options in life that extend our well-being so that we can be available to those that we are honored to serve. I am also a certified coach specializing in Gallup strengths. Grateful for the opportunity to be here tonight. And I guess we'll go ahead with what we usually do, right, Theo? One thing we're grateful for. So tonight, I am grateful to be back. It's been a few weeks and God has been faithful. So just grateful to be here.
And so Regina is positioned right above you. So.
Hello, everyone. My name is Regina Booker, and I am the owner of Seasoned and Fabulous, where we do inspirational T-shirts. Plus, it's women living their fulfillment for women of 50 plus. That it's never too late. You can always start and just keep motivating women. So I'm an advocate for women, letting them know that you can, it's never too late. You can always start, no matter what, no matter age, no matter, just because, it's there. And I am grateful. I have been away for about 40 days on a different assignment, and I am grateful to be back with my beautiful sisters.
All right, Sheila.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Sheila Isom. I am an insurance claims professional, and I am also a business owner. I am an independent consultant for Color Street, where we sell nail strips and some beauty products. And I am also a notary public. And I am grateful for this platform because this is just real talk. It's not scripted. There's no reality TV here, but it is about real life. So I am grateful that we have this forum that we can talk about our life experiences, our life lessons, and impart some information on people who are ready to receive it.
And what are you? You said what you were grateful for.
Hello, I am Trey Kearney. I am the CEO of New You Nation Network, the network that nurtures Generation X and beyond and has content that goes beyond filth. I'm gonna say it tonight because I'm on one today. I hope you all know. Feel some kind of way, but yeah, and I'm also a certified life and relationship coach, and I believe that men and women should be accountable for their actions. And I am grateful for the fact that we can turn things around in life. And I'm grateful for the fact that prayer works.
Amen. Yes. All right. And I am Theodora Carter. I am also a certified life and career coach. I am passionate about helping women live the life they desire and deserve to live. And I truly believe that we can position ourselves to live a life of peace and harmony. And I am grateful that God has granted me 57 years.
Yes.
I am thankful to have just celebrated a birthday. I am thankful for life and health and this platform and you ladies, and that we just get the opportunity to share our hearts and to share it in a positive and hopefully what will be a motivating way.
Amen.
Yeah, and so we're going to get started tonight. I mean, we had a really lively conversation, as we always do, Sunday night. And, we just were talking about, where do we draw the line? Just talking about where we are as a society, as people, as most importantly, because we are women, we're going to focus on women. We're not going to say it is all about women, but we're going to focus on what our responsibilities are, right, to maintain values and integrity and set boundaries that just teach those that are coming behind us, right? And so when this is a saying I think we've probably heard people say many times, right? I'm going to draw the line, or where do we draw the line, right? What does that mean to you when I say that in the context that we were talking about it last night?
Well, let me say this. Again, the New You Nation Network exists to have healthy content, fun content, healthy content, but good, clean content that does not destroy the spirit. And we started a conversation last night, and I wanted to talk about this today. So that's why I'm on. The ladies have allowed me to invade their space because I got to ask now. It's my home, but I still need to ask. But we were talking about the Breakfast Club, and this really is not a bashing session about any other platform. But when you see your brothers, Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, talking to a young rapper, a young woman, and the conversation is filthy, where do we draw the line when we are trying to teach our young people the difference between right and wrong, right? And of course, we all get to have freedom of speech. We all get to act whatever way we want to act. But where do we draw the line in degrading ourselves as grown men? DJ, and I hope they see this, Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, who have daughters of their own, who have children of their own, will sit on a live platform with a young woman of she's between, I guess, 22 to 25, and ask her and have a conversation about sucking a fart out of her behind during intercourse. Where do we draw the line in society right now for our young women who have shows? And I'm not trying to I'm not knocking our young ladies. I'm not knocking this young woman that came on the Breakfast Club and said these things, because she's young. She needs guidance. She needs wisdom from people our age. And for them to sit there and have this type of conversation with them, it makes me think, would you want somebody to have this conversation with your daughter at that age, to be okay picturing your daughter having a man suck a fart out of your behind? Would you be okay with that conversation? Because when did we lose integrity? When did we lose values on national platforms where our children have access to this? Because the Breakfast Club, one, we want to listen to it on our way to work, and we want to hear about artists, their new music that's coming out, new projects they're working on, things that are of good nature. And I'm not saying we got to be clean and churchy. However, again, our topic tonight is, where do we draw the line when it's just filth? And again, who is the producer that approved this to say, this is the conversation that y'all should have with this young lady? Why did y'all think that was okay for her to come on there and drop F-bombs and talk about her sexual endeavors with two grown ass men? Excuse me, because I'm appalled, because that could be my daughter. And I would expect two grown men, two grown fathers, to have a better conversation to promote my daughter's music than for them to sit up there and talk about fellatio coming out of her while some man is sucking on her behind. I'm shocked and I'm appalled and I'm outraged right now at the level of disrespect from those two grown men. And I forgot who else was hosting. It was a grown woman that was hosting. And I'll think about it in a second. That y'all will sit up there with this young lady, and y'all tell me how y'all feel about that, because I know, Netta, you have a daughter, I know Regina has 2 sons, and I know Sheila has a son, and I know that Theo has nieces that she's very close with that count on her for mentorship.
I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Theo.
I mean, I was shocked. Like, I occasionally listen to the Breakfast Club. Like, I'll catch it, but it's not a common practice. But I was just shocked by just the whole comment. Like, I'm like, first of all, in my mind, when you said it, like, I was thinking, like, how do you even get to that topic, right? Like, if someone is coming on to discuss music, right? How do you get to that topic? And what is the responsibility of the individual that is the adult to direct the conversation, right? And in a way that is, not judgmental, right? But in a way that corrects and positively. And I think that's what's key, right? Is how do we correct positively and not condone and engage in these conversations that we know are detrimental to someone.
Yes.
Right? Because that is establishing how other people are going to view her, right or wrong.
Right.
Right?
My words exactly. It's not only about the young lady that's being interviewed. It's all of the young ladies her age and younger
Oh my God.
that are now exposed to something they probably hadn't even thought of.
Yeah.
So now there's been a seed planted, and prayerfully they have an adult that loves them enough, as D. Marshall would say, course correct, and open up the dialogue. This is not the time to shy away from the conversation because it's out there.
Yes.
So this is where we, as women of wisdom, step in, hear where they are first. How are they even processing it? And then provide the steps to help them understand why it's not healthy.
Right. Not only the fact of what they're talking about her doing with these men is not healthy. The fact that it's not healthy for grown men to be having these conversations with you.
Absolutely not. That's disrespectful. I guess we can go there.
Yeah.
Teaching our young ladies of what it means to be respected and require it.
Come on.
That part, right, is really teaching our young ladies how to teach people how to treat us.
Oh my God. My God.
Right, and how to treat them. Right.
Yes.
That is something that we have gotten away from, right? Like it's become the norm, right? To where women call themselves the B word.
Right.
Right. And so that's like a fun thing or whatever. I don't even know what you call it. But that's something where, and even grown women, right, don't have a problem categorizing themselves in that way. And how does that translate to the women that are looking at, like Netta said, right? They're looking at these older people, these other women, right, who are setting the bar and the standard.
Yes.
Right, for how you are supposed to conduct yourself.
Right.
As of a young lady.
And again, and then I'll let Sheila and Regina talk, but again, the level of disrespect from DJ Envy and Charlemagne the God, 2 grown men in their 40s or late 30s who have children and wives, who sit on other platforms and portray themselves another way, right? Who want to encourage and inspire. In one corner, you want to talk to Black men about uplifting themselves, and Black men don't cheat, and you want to have these platforms with your books of motivation, and you and your wife going around with your book of motivation, and then you sit on this platform for whatever reason to get ratings. And I don't know if you're a producer or DM, whoever's running the station gives you what it is that you're supposed to talk about, but a grown man of integrity would say, I'm not having this conversation with this young lady, even though it's a part of her song. We can talk about her music in a whole nother direction. If somebody wants to go listen to her music, we can direct them to her page. We know her music is risque. We know her music is vulgar, and that's fine. Again, I'm not mad at these young people, and I wouldn't be mad if it was two younger people interviewing them. If it was a 21-year-old interviewing a 21-year-old, or a 25-year-old interviewing a 25-year-old, but I have a serious problem with two grown men sitting up there talking to my daughter like that, because she's our daughter. She's our niece. She's our goddaughter. She's our sister. So no. You don't get to do that and nobody speak on it. And we live in a world right now. We talked about this last night. We live in a world right now where everybody's sugarcoating everything and everybody acting like the world is okay, and it's not. Our daughters, our young women, these have to be the mother of our grandbabies. These are the mothers of our future. And we have grown men who are supposed to gently course correct them. Again, who are other platforms. I watch these two. I watch them on their platforms, and I watch them go and speak at men's conferences. I watch them go and just heal, bro, and tell brothers to heal. How dare you go tell the brothers to heal while you sit and have this inappropriate conversation with a 24-year-old? I'm sorry, y'all.
But it's funny because I think you said something, right? And I'm gonna ask Regina and Sheila what they think about it, right? It's really the whole concept of the ratings, right? And because the other side of it is you was like, this is, even if it's in her song, I'm like, so what kind of music, right? Is she putting out there that whoever said, okay, we're gonna,
have her on the show.
Yeah, right. So, but Regina and Sheila, what are your thoughts?
Well, I didn't hear that interview, and I do same as you, Trey. I listen to the two of them on and off. Just to, if I don't like the topic, and I'll change the channel. But some of the things that they talk about, like with financial literacy,
right,
with mental wealth, as Charlemagne even coined it, those things I find it a very deep and meaningful and necessary conversations. And sometimes the conversations that they have with even entertainers that I've never even heard of, right? I'll listen to some of those. Sadly, I guess it's not even out of the norm for them to do those things in the name of entertainment. And I'm even sitting back thinking about, would that have transpired if Angela Yee had been there? Sadly, I think it probably would have.
Right.
Whether or not she would have contributed to the conversation, or how much, I should say, she would have contributed to the conversation, I think they still would have had that kind of conversation with this young lady. But it goes even deeper than that, because one of the things that Netta said was, where were the adults behind her? Unfortunately, it's the adults that are sanctioning this behavior, because they are in an industry to make money. And all you need is a little bit of talent, some kind of presence that's going to allow that adult to make money. So instead of that adult guiding you and course correcting you, they are looking at putting you on this talk show to boost up your record sales.
Right.
So, so there's a part of us that has failed these people, these young people, by chasing the almighty dollar. We can also talk about, lack of parenting skills, lack of parents, whether it's the mother or the father in the household. Is that as parents get younger and younger, the freedom that they are allowing their children to have is something we would have never dreamed of. We grew up in a totally different era. We know that times have changed, but for the life of me, I cannot understand, nor can I join with the fact that all of your morals go out of the window with that.
Right. And I'll say this, Sheila, you made a really good point. You said times have changed, and times are going to change forever, right? Because things are advancing, like technology and stuff is advancing. That has nothing to do with our moral compass, because times are changing. It has nothing to do with the fact that we're supposed to know right from wrong and be good people. When we say times are changing, we're saying technology changes. Like, Our parents had 8-track tapes. We had albums, and then we had CDs. Those are the things that are changing and evolving. Our behaviors are not supposed to change for the worse. It's supposed to change for the better. We are walking in Sodom and Gomorrah right now. We are walking down the street and we can't tell what's what, who's who. We can't tell our young people that they can't have their phone in the class without the teacher being brutalized. Like, these are some crazy times. And us as the adults, like, how dare us bring a young man on this show who curses and raps and uses vulgar language, and we sit on the show with him and curse and use vulgar language and promote the filth? How dare we do that as grown 50-year-old women to say, for the sake of entertainment? Where is my integrity when it comes to the things that I believe in, what we're trying to instill in the younger people? And again, I'm not mad at the young ladies, because we had Little Kim, right? We had Foxy Brown, but when they came on the radio, that interview was structured and it was certain things that they could not say. It was censored. And this is a time now where we have to get back to not censoring people from not sharing, but not having filth on your platform when you are a mental health advocate, because you are incongruent, bro. Your mouth don't line up with your walk. And I'm talking about Charlamagne the God, and he could call me and we can have a conversation. I would love to sit down and talk to him about this. You are double-minded, and a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And I'm sorry to tell you, when you sit and promote mental health for Black men, and you sit with a young lady and affect her mental health, the mentality of where she's going, I'm not telling you to tell her that this is not the kind of music she could do, but to sit and have a conversation with her like that is degrading, is disrespectful, and you're a grown man. And I'm not, again, we can't make people not do music, but you don't have to engage in the filth. Regina, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm so pissed off with this whole thing. Like, I'm so disappointed in Charlamagne the God and DJ M, because I have a high level of respect for them because of how they've grown in media and how they have a say-so on these media platforms, that y'all will use your influence for this. What will you do when God hands you the mic? What will you do? And where do you draw the line before it goes into, what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his own soul?
Wow.
Regina, I'm sorry, Theo.
No, that's fine.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, I know. Last night, we know you were pretty, mad. And I didn't see that show, so I don't know. I catch him every now and then. But I probably would have been just as pissed had I seen it. I'm pissed right now because, like, I right now just had a granddaughter. That's
right.
So how dare you tell my granddaughter? I've been around men all my life, so this is the first girl. So I don't want anyone to give her nothing that's inappropriate. And I was at a gathering, and there was a guy there, and he just kept calling everyone a B, but they were his sisters. And he said, "Aren't you going to call her that?" I said, "No, I don't do that. Those are my queens." He said, "Well, it's all in fun." I said, "That's not fun to me." So, I shut him down. Everyone else was okay with that. And I course corrected. And he was a grown man. But these shows, it's all about the mighty dollar. When I was listening to radio back in the day, everything was sanctioned. It's not anymore. When did that stop? So it goes deeper than that. It goes to the politicians, whoever the FCC.
Right.
That has to come back. We should be protesting.
Yes.
We don't know if they, they have families to feed, but then you also have your honor.
Yes.
So which one are you going to choose? Me, I would have chose my honor, and God would have, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. God's going to work it out. So if the manager or whoever said we have to do this, I will not do this.
Right.
So if you take my job, sometimes you got to stand. If you go for anything, you'll fall for anything.
Yes.
You got to stand. So that's my point on it. I would really love to know why it was allowed and how
Right.
disgusting is that?
The program, like, who's the program director
Right.
up at the Breakfast Club? Like, who's approving this? And again, like you said, Regina, we don't have to do what everybody tells us to do, because they could say, you know what, I'm not going to be here that day for this. Like, because I wouldn't want my daughters to even think that, or my sons to think that I would even engage in a conversation like this with a young girl. So maybe she should be on another station that's affiliated with the station, right? Maybe we could put her on the rap platform. But for the Breakfast Club to have this conversation early in the morning, where we know we have a demographic of other adult people who listen to us as well. So we want to have consideration for everybody. And again, I'm just so disappointed in those two grown men. And I want to pull up the clip, but
and as everyone sues for everything. So if they challenge your job, you could have sued them because it could have been against your religion, against your principles, against anything. So you could have got your job back. So
where do we draw the line?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, and for those of you who just joined, you're watching the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network, where we have real conversations and powerful conversations. And we are really at the point where we're just talking about, you know, the world we live in, and where because it takes one of us, right? And so where if each and every one of us decide that we're not going to stand for the foolishness and the nonsense, right, it begins to make a difference, right? And so I was sitting here thinking, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the clip of Muhammad Ali, right, talking about how he taught his daughters, right? How are you going to go outside and show everything, right? But he took it a step further. He was like, even when you look at men, right, who are okay with letting their wives go out, you know, with no clothes on, a half naked, or exposing everything, right? He was like, you know, what value are you putting on, right, yourself as a woman, but also what value are you as a man are putting on this woman who is your wife or your daughter or whoever, right? Like it is, you know, I don't know. It's like a sign of, like, things that we, like, I remember leaving the house, like, if your skirt was too short, like my godmother, somebody saying, where you
going?
Right?
Right.
Now,
and a lot of this, right? A lot of this that we're looking at has a lot to do with the adults of influence, right? And instead of them leading them to the path of righteousness, and if y'all want to, it's not so churchy, but instead of leading them down the right path to honor and respect themselves, our women have come down to beneath these young girls to try to keep up with them. Your season is over. And even what's so disturbing to me, even like Puffy with Young Miami or Caracia, whatever her name is, how dare you exploit this young girl? These are grown men. These are grown, not Charlamagne the God or DJ Envy sleeping with a young girl or being with a young girl, but you're grown men that are engaging in these conversations with this young girl on your platform on the Breakfast Club. And then we have Puffy over here, another grown man with two daughters that's close to his daughter's age, and you don't really care about the signal that you're setting off to our young women? Come on, brothers. Y'all got to do better. Y'all really are out here running amok on these young girls and knowing that they'll do anything for a like. They'll do anything for attention, because we live in a world, and Chris Rock said it on his special, where everybody is starving for attention. Everybody is thirsty for a like. So people will harm somebody in a prank on social media to get a like, to get a follow. We have to stop this as the adults. And I'm talking about the older, seasoned generation. We have to stop this as adults. Like I talked about this today on my TikTok. I did a video this morning because I was talking about hashtag no side chicken again, and I put a post on my Instagram, and all of these women came on there defending the side chick. Like they came on there really like, oh no, it's the man's fault, and the man is this, and I'm like, yo, chill, hold up. I said both people need help, but you can't be so fixated on making the man wrong that you condone the woman's poor behavior. A woman sleeping with somebody's husband is wrong. Any way you slice it. Oh, they talking about, well, a single woman is not obligated. A single woman should have morals, values, and respect for herself.
Right.
But, I don't owe no other woman nothing. When did we get to the point of that? It's not about you owing another woman anything. It's about you being that woman. It's about you respecting yourself, having respect, not owing anybody anything. It's about having integrity, morals, and values. And we have to bring these conversations back up. And we have to talk about Diddy. And we have to tell them we are discussing that because every one of these young girls, again, are our daughters. Not biological, but they are our daughters. They are our nieces. They are our grandbabies. They are our god babies. And they are being used and abused by this system, and it is disgusting.
And so I wanna ask this question that I'm gonna throw it at you first, right? So how do we make a difference? How do we begin to impact and be a part of the change?
Good question. For me, the first thing that comes to mind is drawing a line.
Mm-hmm.
And there isn't a line anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because so the question, where do we draw the line? We have to reestablish the line. So many things have eroded away at the boundaries, the morals, the fiber, the things that we were raised to understand as just common knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Just so integrity, I wanted to go to this definition, and I'll go back to what you were saying, Trey, in regards to the conversation to begin with. It's multi-level failure.
Woo.
It's not one thing. It's not two things. This is lots of failure on many levels. The failure of those in the young lady's life that would make her feel comfortable saying and doing some of the things that she has reportedly said and done. And for the gentleman to be okay with condoning and even encouraging a conversation around this. Multi-level failure. And so in the definition of integrity that I have written, quality is the first word. That does not match the conversation. There's no quality in that part of the conversation. So that's the first word in the definition of integrity. Quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. There's the line.
There's the line.
Moral principles. And the second part of the definition says whole and undivided. So Trey, you were talking about being unstable in all of your a double-minded man is unstable. Undivided doesn't match that. That's a divided person who can be one way in one circumstance and another way in another circumstance. That is not integrity.
Especially if money can move you.
Yep.
Right.
And then you said something so good, Netta. You said it's multi-levels of failure, which is the key thing here is it takes a village. So if we have a mother who told this young lady, I don't want you doing this, but they give her a platform to do it. There's nothing the mother could do once this young lady is 21 to 23, 20. There's really nothing the mother can do unless the village says, when she comes to this next person to say, I want to promote this music, and they say, you know what, not here.
Right.
It's a village, like you said, multi-levels of failure. It has to start with her. If her mother can't get it out of her system, because these kids don't listen to their mothers, but the next person that they come in contact with that is a full-grown adult, a mature, seasoned adult, and we talking about 40 and up, should say, if your mother ain't with it, so sweetie, I'm not with it. I'm not about to corrupt your soul.
I mean, but it's so true. Like, here, right? Sheila Williams says morals and standards don't matter to the new generation. And part of it is not only just the new generation, right? It is, as you just said, right? Where are the adults that are feeding and planting and building the foundation for the new generation? Because they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
Right.
Can I come back to that statement that just came up?
Mm-hmm.
Morals and standards don't matter to the new generation. That stung a little bit for me. I know it wasn't intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to group all of our young people in one place. There are some young people who are doing exceptional things, and they have influence, and we want to encourage them to have influence on those that may not be quite where we would hope they would be by now, right?
Right.
And also, I want to speak to relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I remember people trying to give me advice and suggestions that had no relationship with me.
Right.
That's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we go back to? Connecting in meaningful ways with our young people.
Yes. Yes.
I understand the pandemic separated a lot of people. We lost connection in a lot of ways, but it doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Just because you haven't spoken to someone in 3 years doesn't mean you can't start today.
Right.
So I think
questions.
That is
the questions are good.
Good questions. Yes.
But Netta, it's so true that you say that, right? Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, right? In all reality, it starts like what somebody said, right? It's knowing ourselves, but it's also what the foundation, right?
Right.
What was planted in us? Like I was telling you, right? I grew up watching my mom read her Bible every morning, right? I grew up with a praying grandmother and praying aunts, and even if I strayed away from it, right? I eventually came back to God because it was planted in me, right?
Yes.
It was the foundation. It was, I was taught, like even to this day, it's funny where I had a hard time when I entered the workforce and I was working with older, more mature individuals, because I would be like, Miss this, Miss that, right? And they would be like, just call me my first name. And I was like, well, that's going to take some time for me because I was raised to address adults, right? As Miss this, Miss that. I didn't call my mom by her first name. I didn't call my aunts by their first name. It's to this day. I still call Auntie Millicent, Auntie Estelle, right? I mean, it's just it's the foundation that was so who's building the foundation? But more importantly, what is the foundation being built on?
Okay, you. So talk a little louder after that.
Yes, so they can't hear.
Okay.
Regina, you was getting ready to say something?
I was gonna say what I would do. Beat them at their own game. What we can do, we can start flooding our social media, our pages,
right?
What we look like, what we want to dress like. Put little not ads, post or say, look, I don't know, look at this fine looking lady, or. And I think somebody made it just because you can still be classy, all dressed, things like that. So while they put all the dirt, you match them where they are. You give them an example. Right. And honestly, we've been there. Not to that. I mean, we were young ones, but not to the degree that some of them. There's things I've done, so I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm holier than thou, because I've done some things, but I've learned from them too. But at the most, I want to show, because I'm a lady, I'm a queen, and you're going to respond to me in that way. You're not going to disrespect me. Yeah. I don't care if you're the president.
Yeah. Yes. And our young people have gotten so out of control. They have no respect for authority
Right.
because the village is not intact.
Mhm.
Everybody is not sticking together.
Mhm.
All the adults must stick together. Back in the day, you better not have not said nothing to Miss Williams on
Right.
she was come down and slap the dust off of you.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
take you to your mama house and say, do you know that your daughter said this to me? Do you know your daughter was outside kissing a boy? Do you know I caught her on the corner? You know what I'm saying? So we have to take back the whole entire, it's important for the whole entire country to wrap
Mhm.
around this.
Mhm.
Teachers are being brutalized,
Right.
beat, put in
Yeah.
the hospital by young girls.
Mhm.
From somebody taking their phone from them. They
Right.
feel like they have the right to jump in a teacher's face and actually beat her and have a physical altercation, a fist fight
Mhm.
with this person. So we have to go back to the school and say, we need to ban phones and tablets from school. You can't bring that in here.
Right.
If you want to fight with somebody, fight with your mama. Because what you're not going to do is brutalize our teachers and our staff and our administration. So the people at the schools, the superintendents and the board of education have to sit down to protect these teachers, to show these young people that we will not be bossed and pushed around. We love you, but you can't bring your phone to school.
Or
Yeah.
even if you bring your phone, but even if you bring your phone to school, have a system, right? It's like I've worked at places where in a meeting, we had a basket. You walked in the room, you put your cell phone in there.
Right. Right.
Come up with a system, because some parents give their children phone because they want to be able to have them get in touch with them in between, but they should not be allowed to have phones in the classroom.
Right.
They should lock them up, like they're, you know, in your not a locker, but maybe in a cubby in your classroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone locks their phone.
Not
you
even
know.
in the classroom. I don't as a teacher,
Mhm.
I don't even want your phone in my class. I don't want to have nothing to do with your phone because I don't have control over you. The only thing I could do is defend myself. Now, if y'all want to put storage lockers, hundreds of storage lockers when they walk through the door before the metal detectors, because we need those now too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
If y'all want to put hundreds of lockers where the child has to come in and put their phone in a lockbox in front of security, we're going to do that. But you're not bringing your phone nowhere near my class. Because
Well, let me just say this.
Be brutalized.
So it's backfiring. When my youngest was in high school, they used their phones to do the work in class.
Mm.
Right.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
it's backfiring now because the phones are not being used for that. They're being used for other things, but it was used as a way of completing some assignments. So the phone was useful in the classroom.
Right. But it's time now that again,
Revisit.
we see teachers we're not going to
Right.
have teachers soon. Because I promise you, if I was a teacher, after seeing that woman, them several teachers I've seen been brutalized, I promise you I wouldn't go back into a class.
Right.
First, I'm too old for that. And then we have a whole nother problem. The teachers are coming out of college, they're 25. You got them dealing with 16-year-old, 17. You my peer. If you touch me, I'm gonna beat you down. We almost the same age. Don't put your hands on me. And I get it. Because you 17 and I'm 24 and I'm a substitute, right? The substitutes are coming in now. They're young, between 24 and 30 years old. You think that a substitute at that age is really gonna let a person who is basically their peer put their hands on them? Nah. We have to get this under control, because they are the young people have the older people afraid.
But it also comes down to, right, as well, that we now have parents that believe that the school is supposed to raise their children, but they're not placing these standards on them. So you want a teacher to raise a child that you haven't set any parameters for at home. So they don't respect you at home. They're not going to expect the teacher that you expect to raise them.
Wow.
And then when something happens in the school and the principal or whoever calls you up, you get mad at the principal
And the teacher, you want to come defend the poor behavior.
Exactly.
Just back to like you were saying, Trey, like with the infidelity, defending poor behavior.
Right. Sheila, you were going to say something? We can't hear you, Sheila. You're on mute.
But yeah, I've been just sitting back here, just taking notes, getting back to, the village has to be stronger, right?
Yes.
Because we've allowed so much to go on. We're talking about the schools, even with the telephones. I was watching a news story where they talked about the kids that are hooked on vaping, and there's one girl who said that actually, it was making the transition to marijuana, and it was easy for her to do because number one, she was allowed to vape at school.
What?
So how does that happen? She was allowed to vape at school. So then when marijuana got introduced, it was easy for her to start using that. And I thought back to it and I was just like, why is there vaping allowed in school? I don't care if you mean they can do it at lunchtime or at break time or between, PE and another class. Why is that even allowed? Because it's still the same thing as smoking. Where is our foundation? Where are the parameters and the rules? Netta talked about how they may use the phone for assignments, but think about it. We were allowed to use calculators only in certain instances.
Yeah.
Right.
When are we getting back to that? And that village also includes those people who are, maybe out here a little bit raunchy, but have a message, right? So we talked about Little Kim and Foxy Brown. While you may not have agreed with their methods, their voice was a voice for female empowerment.
Yeah.
Right. So someone like Megan Thee Stallion, you may not agree with her lyrics, her style of dress or whatever, but she is a college educated woman and she's not afraid to let everybody know that.
Right.
So while she is sending out a message in her profession, she's also letting people know that you have different paths that you can go through. And again, it shows that her foundation is strong. She's using what she's doing as a means to the end.
Right.
But
she's like you said, she's promoting the fact that I have my degree to tell the young girls, I have my degree. Don't get it twisted that I'm out here and I can't go get a job and I'm not educated and I can't have an educated conversation. I've been to college. I got my degree purposely. Nobody made me. So that's a good point, Sheila.
But I think, and I don't want to get political or anything, right? But you think about it, right? There are some things that are being allowed, right? Like Sheila just said, like vaping in school, right? I didn't even realize that, right? That. But yet we got someone that wants to ban books,
right?
In Florida. Right.
So
why I say that is because it just all comes down to, right, this world, this society, the direction that things are going in, that we have lost the foundation. And the other thing is, right, listen, whatever you believe in, right, you have to believe in something. And the minute that they said we cannot pray in school, right? We took certain things out of school and out of even like, for me, when I go out to dinner, like you see me and my friends, my family, we pray, we hold hands, but now you have people that they will pray at home, but they won't pray there. Like we have lost this ability to, like, I think someone said in the comments, right, is that you have to know thyself, but you also have to be thyself at all times, right? I remember as when I started my coaching business, and this one person I was talking to, And we were doing some branding stuff. She was doing a photo shoot for me, and we were talking, and she was like, "Oh, you know, something." I forget how she said it, but it was something along the lines of, you know, separating, you know, the stuff. You guys see my page, right?
Yes, yes.
If you see my page, you know who I serve.
Right, yes.
And I was like, well, here's the thing. If somebody comes along and they don't want to work with me because I talk about Jesus Christ, then they not my client.
That's it. That's like we said about Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy. If it does not line up with your morals and values, you have a choice not to do it, to compromise yourself. You have a choice not to do it. And this is another point that I want to make. Even if you never go to church, even if you don't have a relationship with anything or anybody, we all know right from wrong.
Exactly.
Right.
We all know that it's wrong to sleep with somebody's husband or wife. We know that it's wrong to go out here and bash somebody upside their head. We know that it's wrong to beat a teacher, regardless of your spiritual foundation or what you are connected to. We know right from wrong, and we have to start really, again, like Regina said, we have to counteract the filth with the cleanliness.
Yeah.
This is not going to change until we take our platforms that God gives each and every one of us. And I'm not just talking about the New You Nation Network and a woman to woman show. I'm talking about us as walking, living vessels, going outside of our home when we see a young girl. And even though in these times it's scary times because these kids attack and all of these other things, but when we have a safe opportunity to say something, when we have a opportunity to talk to parents and mothers, when we get at women's empowerment conferences, to shift the dynamic of the conversation and say, what is your daughter doing? What is your 22-year-old daughter doing? Let's have that conversation on these couches and these empowerment places that we're going to. We're so busy talking about getting the bag, and we're so busy talking about being bosses and divas. We need to have a platform on every women's empowerment conference where we are talking about the state of our young women. Every women's empowerment conference, we need to have 4 or 5 coaches, counselors, therapists sitting, talking to the mothers who are showing up to these women's empowerment conferences about when was the last time you checked on what your daughter was doing. I'm talking about your 25-year-old daughter. I'm talking about your 30-year-old daughter. I'm talking about the women who are underneath us to say, how's the village around you? How's the people around you? We have to be more conscious and able to speak up and say, in this room, we're going to talk to each other. We're going to, like all of us, we're over 50. This conversation is healthy for us to say, what can we do next? We can't beat the brakes off of them or any of those things, but we can speak life into them instead of conforming to them, instead of saying, well, there's nothing I can do about it. We just going to let her go to hell. No, we can't do that. That is, we have an obligation to God. Okay, we have a purpose. We are all on assignment, and it's not just the preachers in the pulpits. Each and every one of us is an ambassador. And if you on here and you're not an ambassador to Christ, you should be some sort of ambassador, because we are losing it. And it's when we can't go outside of our home and feel safe to go to the supermarket. And it's not only about gun control. When we go out of our houses and we are afraid to go in the supermarket because we're afraid to say something to a teenager, we are teachers afraid to go into the school because if somebody in the class is being disruptive, we can't tell the child you're being disruptive, go to the principal's office without that child beating me on his way out the door. We got a problem.
Well, ladies, this has been a lively conversation. And as we come up on the hour, right, that's right. You know, I'm gonna let each of us can do our last thoughts, final thoughts. But this has been a really good conversation. I think it needs to continue. You know, and so we'll pick up again next Monday, probably different topic, but same vein, right? Same direction. So Regina, because I'm looking right at you, I'm gonna ask you to say what your final thoughts are.
My final thoughts is just thinking right now, I'm going to take the pledge and I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. which is I want to flood my social media pages with positive dressing or whatever the case may be, words or things like that. That's a start.
Yes.
All you need is a start.
All you need is a start. Woo! I'm about to shout and run across my living room.
Sheila.
Don't let anyone or anything skew your credibility, your integrity, and your path. Don't give up on anyone else, as a matter of fact. And as Regina was saying, there are some benefits to the algorithms in social media, because all it takes is for you to start posting one positive thought, and before you can even shut that one station down, you got another positive thought that's coming in there. So it can become a habit. So that'll help you flood your timeline. But this is the stuff we need to feed into people. So think about who you are, who you want to be, and how you can pour into others.
And so I'm just gonna go in order. So I'm gonna go next, right? And so what I would say is also just remember to do it in love, right? And this message more so for me is for believers, all right? Because we sometimes get so high and mighty, and that turns people away. And there is a way to allow people to see the God in you by being, right, who God designed you to be. And so even when you are trying to correct someone, do it in love, right? Because that will go much further than doing it in a way that tears someone down or humiliates someone.
Yes.
All right. And then Trey, you're next.
I'm going to say this. As men and women of a certain age, this is no longer the passive season for us. God is calling the warriors to stand up mightily and say what you need to say. God has given us a platform, an open platform for everybody and anybody. So we're not going to complain and be part of the problem. We're going to speak up and speak out and be part of the solution. And again, I'm saying this. I'm not sugarcoating anything for anybody anymore. And I'm not saying I'm going to meet you where you at. But if I have to come to your level to get you to hear me, like what I learned last couple days from a post that I put up, is that these young people and women who are wrong will come and attack you and think that you can say whatever they want to say to you. Come for me. I'm ready. It's warfare time. And I read this book about the Jezebel spirit. And God said in the Bible, in that book, you don't back down from the Jezebel spirit, because she will run over you. She takes your kindness for weakness. So this is warrior season. I'm sorry. And whoever don't like me, but I'm going to snatch your daughter edges. If she come for me, I'm going to snatch her edges the way that her edges need to be snatched, because gentle parenting ain't working for everybody. So don't come for me if I ain't saying to you. And please don't come for me and try to convince me that wrong is right and right is wrong, because we gonna go back and forth, because that's the season I'm in. I got some words for you. Yep, you trying to tell me that it's okay to sleep with somebody's husband? No, ma'am. No, sir. Now you want to go back and forth, and I could tell you why, and I could point you to certain books in the Bible to let you know. And if you ain't a Christian, get off my feed. And if you can't take the truth, get off my feed. And don't tell me because 250 people agree with you that I'm not listening and I'm wrong. Just because the masses is doing it, and I said this today on my live, just because the masses is doing don't mean it's right, because usually when it's masses, the M is silent. So you following a bunch of asses. We are to be leaders. We are to lead and not follow. We are to lend and not borrow. So the season that we're in right now, with everybody being passive and letting everything go, that's not me no more. That's it for me.
All right, Netta.
Yeah, you would leave me for a follow.
You always got there.
Well, nobody's words matter more than God. So I'm going to give you what he said.
First and foremost.
Okay. Proverbs chapter 10, verses 8 and 9. And this is, I think it's NIV. The wise are glad to be instructed, but babbling fools fall flat on their faces. People with integrity walk safely, but those who follow crooked paths will slip and fall. So it's seasonal. Know that there's an end to the poor behavior and it won't be in your favor. And so I will end it with revive the village. Breathe life back into
I like
the
that.
Right.
And can you give the scripture again? Could you give the
Proverbs chapter 10, verses 8 and 9.
All right. So there you have it. And this has been the Woman to Woman show on the New U Nation Network. Please like and subscribe and tune in again next Monday where we will continue this discussion on where do you draw the line? Because this is a new season for all of us. And we are really trying to take back what we believe we are losing in this society, which is morals and integrity. So have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you here again next Monday. And as we always end our show, we will say truth plus
Transparency
equals
Transparency.
have a good night, everyone.
Right.
Good night.